Alright guys, what's going on? This is Otis here, and today this is my first tactics video with the airplane. And you know, everyone, or hopefully everyone's seen this first roadkill that I just got right here in my previous video that I just uploaded, and I got that, and I ended up getting it on Thursday or whatever. But what was really special, at least for this game for me, was that I was finally able to get a game in the airplane that I lived longer than like 8 minutes without getting shot down. It was pretty nice because I've been flying in hardcore a little bit, and I've just transitioned back to the normal, and I've been liking normal a little bit more, you know, for some reasons, that I haven't been liking it more. You know, for flying the plane and getting kills, I definitely like the plane and the helicopters a lot better in normal because it's just, you survive a lot longer. It's a lot harder to get shot down. But I'm basically just going to go over what kind of setups you can do for the plane, and then also what kind of tactics you can do for the plane too, because not everyone's tactics are going to be, you know, the same. But I mean, they're going to be kind of similar. It's just you gotta try to evolve your play style to like whatever, you know, you feel comfortable with in flying and stuff. Because you're going to see here in this video too that after I'm doing these strafing runs, I get pretty close to the ground, and it definitely took me a while to figure out how fast I needed to be going or how slow I needed to be going in order to, you know, just get some rounds on the target, but yet still not crash into the ground and still be going fast enough where I'm able to, you know, correct easily, put the afterburners on, and, you know, gain some altitude and not crash into a damn building or tree. And, you know, occasionally I still do it because I'm just I'm a decent pilot. I'm definitely not the best for sure, but, you know, I would say I got average skills, or maybe probably above average right now, because I've been able to jump in the plane a little bit more than I used to have to, because pretty much what I was doing before was what most people know, is I would just jump in the attack helicopter, you know, pretty much when I could. I would wait for it to spawn, and now I'm starting to expand my game a little bit more, at least in the plane sense, just because, you know, it's fun flying. And the total gameplay, this is, you know, one of those like hour-and-a-half games or whatever, but I ended up being in the plane for about like 16 or 17 minutes before they finally ended up shooting me down. But, you know, I cut out most of the boring parts, and there was going to be a good amount of kills in the beginning and a good amount of kills at the end. I don't remember exactly how many I got, but I'm going to go for the type of setups that you can use for the plane. And, you know, the first one is flares, which I would highly recommend using flares. And that's just due to the fact that, you know, most, like 90% of the plane pilots are going to be using something other than guided missiles, or not guided missiles, but the anti-air missiles. And so pretty much the only people who are going to be locking on to you is the helicopter and ground units. And pretty much once you flare and you kick in your afterburners, you're going to be able to get away from those guys in a matter of pretty much, you know, no time, by, you know, increasing that distance for the lock-on range. And then by the time you turn back around, your flares will be reloaded, and you'll be able to take another shot at either the ground units or the attack helicopter, whichever one's trying to shoot you down. And ECM jammer, I gotta stress this, you know, more than enough, that the ECM jammer is broke for the planes. It is just absolutely just flat out broke. It only works between 25 to 50% of the time, and even then, you know, the odds of it working are a lot less than that. There's a ton of videos on YouTube, you know, explaining, you know, how it's broke, the hit percentage. It works, actually, you know, it works in the helicopter, you know, mostly I would say it works in the helicopter, but it doesn't pretty much work in the plane at all. The only thing it actually helps you in the plane is if you use it in the plane, you won't show up on your enemy's air radar if they have that enabled. And so that's just, you know, nothing to, you know, just use flares. It's something I would recommend. It's just, they're broken. Everyone who's pretty much used the planes, you know, some people still use the ECM jammer, and you're able to take advantage of that, you know, when you're going one-on-one, if they have missiles, or if you're in the attack helicopter attacking the plane that has the ECM, just because, you know, people who've used it can attest to that. It's just crap, you know. It's just unfortunate that it's broke, you know. DICE has acknowledged that it's a piece of shit. So, you know, just start using flares. You know, I know a lot of people have used the ECM jammer. They'll pop it, you know, they'll still get locked on, and then they'll blow up, and they're just like, you know, what the hell, you know, this is bullshit. And it is, because it's broken. All right, next thing I'm going to go on to is the different type of weapons that you unlock for the airplanes. And the first two most popular one are guided rockets, and then unguided, or not guided rocket, be the guided missile, and then unguided rockets, which are the rocket pods, or whatever you want to call them. And, you know, both of them have pros and cons, definitely, for sure. I pretty much almost use the rocket pods exclusively until pretty recently. I would definitely recommend, possibly, working on your aim. If you want to start shooting ground targets more, I would definitely use rocket pods, because that really helps my aim tremendously in the airplanes in Battlefield 3. And another thing I would like to like to say here too, because it's pretty much from here on to the next few minutes of the video is me just doing like super crazy aerobatic maneuvers, because if you look in the air radar, I have two jets that were just on my ass. And I mean, pretty much if you've got two airplanes on you, you've got to do some drastic, some crazy, some ridiculous just flying maneuvers. And I'm honestly surprised that I've not hit the mountain, because pretty much after this life, I tried doing this like 2 or 3 more times, but I kept hitting the mountain, crashing into it. And it was just one of those things where I just got on a great streak, where I was able to dip and dodge. And pretty much if you've got 9 out of 10 times, if you just fly around like this, be really aggressive, throw your afterburners on, make those sharp turns, they're going to give up after a few minutes. And so these guys end up actually giving up on me. They just go, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to be able to kill them. And so then I stop, doing all my crazy maneuvers, and I actually go after them. And I believe I shoot one of them down, the other one I might disable, but we pretty much got air superiority once they stopped chasing me. And the difference between the guided rockets and the unguided rockets is you get a TV missile type of thing when you go into the guided mode, and so you're able to scan a little bit further, and it's in infrared. Another reason why I'm starting to use this a lot more is because you're able to use that look out below for vehicles, and also you're also able to spot and localize enemy troops, and so you're able to spot them. And so what I did, like in the beginning of the video, you can go back and check in the very beginning, where I'll turn the guided missile on, and then I just start spamming select. I can't show them spamming select actually, but once you end up marking your targets, they'll show up on that triangle in your guided missile. But once you go back in that first-person camera mode, they're pretty much they're not there anymore. But once you slow down enough, it's definitely something to get used to, flying down or slowing down enough where you're able to actually get a decent amount of rounds in that target. But once you do get in range, that person's triangle is going to light up in front of you, and so you at least know where to shoot them at. And then if you have guided rockets, what I would suggest is switching over to your unguided rockets. I would switch over to the unguided rockets. Just completely dump out all your rockets, and then switch to your guns real quickly too. And it's freaking deadly for tanks and even guided missile too. What you'll do is you'll lock onto your Jeep or tank, whatever it is, you'll fire it. Then immediately, as soon as you can, you want to switch over to your guns and just do a strafing run on it. And depending on how much health the tank has, if it has reactive armor or not, you'll be able to disable them at least with one run if you get the missile on them and a few rounds with the machine gun into them. Which is it's helpful too. Another thing too with the guided missile, which a lot of people don't do or realize, but it'll lock onto any vehicle whether it's not in whether anyone's in it. So if you see an enemy or two around that around a Jeep or a tank, lock onto it and then fire your missile, because more likely than not they'll gravitate towards that vehicle, and a lot of times you'll actually get a kill, or you'll get at least some damage marks on them. And even if you don't kill them, with those damage assistance stuff, what you'll be able to do is get some more points to unlock some stuff. And so those are definitely the two most popular things. I would definitely recommend guided missile. It's real easy just to fly over a vehicle real quickly, just to lock on, fire away on a tank, because if you got a good enough hit on it, it will disable it in one hit. And then if you fly back around the next time, what usually will happen is there'll be a guy repairing it, and so you're able to fire that second missile off, and if he doesn't repair it in time, the missile will end up blowing up and killing him, which is pretty nice and pretty helpful too. So these are just some little tips and stuff. I would definitely recommend the top-down attacks, as most people call them, where you fly up, then you kind of go in a slight steep dive towards your target, do a little strafing run, and then go and bounce up. And that's gonna work for most people. It's definitely something you have to practice on in the plane, just because it's just so difficult. It took me, I don't know, it took probably like 6 or 7 hours in the plane to get my first kill on the ground at least. And then once you get good with the strafing and stuff with the ground targets, you'll be able to pretty much beat them all the time. But hopefully this video helps you out, and thanks for watching, guys.